Indepth Radio. Distance and Dark Side present Indepth Radio.
Yeah. What's happening? Sounds of the Indepth Radio. Series 2, Episode 9. Myself, Distance. Here on the mic, I'll be taking you through. I'm afraid Darkside can't be with us for this show. He's just had a baby girl, so I'm letting him have some time off. Yeah. So as I mentioned, I'm running solo this show. Mr. Darkside can't be here. It feels a bit weird, I feel like a Cagney without her Lacey. But yeah, he's just had a baby girl, so he's knee deep in dirty nappies and late night feeds. So he'll be back very soon, don't worry. In the meantime, sit back, enjoy the music. Right, so that last one was the Quasar track entitled Post Echo Dub, and this one creeping in beneath me, Tetrad and Arca. Not the Arca, but a different Arca, spelled A-H-K-U-R. And this one is entitled Kataku. Check it. You're larging up the Tetrad and Arca on the last one. This one coming in absolutely monstrous. Out to Casper on production. This one entitled Pulse.
Hello, it's Mr. K. My banger in the bag is Causa Empire. Mad tune.
So as you heard, this one entitled Empire, Mr. Causa on production and recommended by Mr. K. Right then, stepping into something brand new. This one produced by the Reams. I believe we've played tracks by this guy before, making some really interesting music. This one is entitled Tracing Paper. Enjoy. So, I recently toured the States. Was absolutely crazy. Just want to big up all the promoters, my agent, and especially you lot for coming out, saying hello, and just basically going nuts. So yeah, big up. Should be back very, very soon. Can't wait. Yeah, that last one was heavy. Really enjoying that last one, Reams, if you're listening. So, stepping into this. Pugilist and Mystic on production. Track entitled 2 Steps Backward. And also, as I mentioned, I'm on my own this show. Mr. Darkside is at home enjoying fatherhood, but he'll be back really, really soon. So yeah, don't worry, you won't have to put up with me for much longer. show's pretty fire. Got so many new beats. I just feel like, I just feel like there's so many big tunes out there at the moment, and just so much new music coming through. Really fresh, really interesting. Kind of like a name on everyone's lips at the moment is this guy. Goes by the name of Fosa. But this one is actually a remix by the Different Drop. The track is entitled Raindrops.
Drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot bar. Cooking, fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Copy you, with the shit. Cooking from nothing to something, nigga. Copy you, 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 copy you. Yeah, that. Cooking the poop in the crock pot. Drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Cooking, fucking on your yeah, that. Cooking the poop in the crock pot.
So, on this episode of Indepth Radio, I'm very lucky to have Youngsta on the phone. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you, brother.
That's good to hear, mate. So, you recently toured with Kiva in the States. How did that go for you?
It went really well, mate. It was an absolute pleasure to do that tour, and I'll be looking forward to doing another one next year with Kiva.
That's great, mate. Yeah, I got to meet her for the first time last weekend, and yeah, man, she's got like a good energy about her, definitely, for the scene, and she's, things are obviously popping off for her in the States. Yeah, so how do you feel about things in the States right now? Like, it seems like it's popping off.
Yeah, she has got good energy. She's very talented. I love working with her, and she's going to continue to do well. In America, things are popping off, as you say, and it is healthy out there for dubstep at the moment. And there's work there, so I'm going to go where the work is.
And I totally don't blame you, mate. I'm kind of in a similar situation myself. So, as we're talking about Kiva, she has a track featuring on the upcoming LP on Century. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, she does indeed. It's called Teeth. I'm very fond of it. I've been playing it for ages, and I'm glad to finally get it out. The album is called Syndicate. It has 20 tracks by various different artists from around the world. I put it together last year. I'm very glad to finally get it out. The release date is June the 14th, and it will be 20 tracks digitally and a double vinyl album sampler, 4 tracks. So yeah, it's a really exciting time for me and the label, and I cannot wait to get this out to the people. I also want to say thanks to everyone that's been involved in this album and this project, because there's so many talented people on this album and it's such good music. I'm so happy and delighted with the way it's turned out.
Yeah, man, I hear. I mean, I was lucky enough to receive a copy a little while ago, and yeah, man, there's some bangers on there, like that Buka's tune. I don't know if I'm allowed to name the track yet, but yeah, it's a banger. So yeah, what other artists you got featuring on there for the people that don't know?
That Booker's one you're talking about is called Benz, and it's a banger, and it will be featured on the album vinyl sampler with Truth, Caspar and On Hell. I chose them tracks because they're strong and some of my faves, and it was a very tough decision to make a choice out of 20 tracks which ones to put on the album sampler. So for all you vinyl junkies, they're the 4 tracks you're getting. The full digital release features tracks from Argo, Day Zero, Opus, Mr. K, Sim, Leflo, myself and more. So I do feel there's a nice mixture of new and established artists across the album.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a really good mix. Like when when listening to it all works really nicely together. So you mentioned there's a track on there by you. You know, how's would there be more Youngsta productions coming in the future?
I'm glad you think so, brother. It got the distant seal of approval, yeah? And I do think the tracks do work well together. It's got a nice dynamic across the album. There's different BPMs on there. It's not just 140. There's 105. There's 130. There's an 85 track on there. That's the one by me and Sim. So there is a mixture on there. And yeah, there will be more Youngsta productions, definitely, but not necessarily on Century. My main focus is to release other people's music on my label, not my music. And because I've been so busy traveling and DJing around the world, it has slowed down my production a little bit. But I've got some collabs coming later this year. One with Sleeper, which is a 4-track EP. Very excited about that. Cannot wait to start testing the music out in the clubs. We've just finished the tracks and they're ready to go. I do also need to finish a few of my own productions that have been sitting around for a while. And there's also a lot of collabs with various people that need finishing. So there is a lot to do, but not a lot of time to do it. And I do truly try and get in the studio as much as possible and work online whenever possible.
Please tell me that you are working on the mother of all memes to pay back Sim.
There is absolutely no point in trying to defeat Sim. So no, I'm not going to try and test Sim because he's the meme master. End of.
So the first forward I ever went to at Plastic People, you were DJing, and that night made such a big impression on me. You know, it's kind of like I'd already started producing, I think, but then when I went to forward, it really made me want to just crack on. And then when I found out you worked at the Black Market, you know, and I used to come there and grab beats from you. So when it actually got to the day when you played one of my tunes in forward, that was such a big, you know, achievement for me. And you know, is your process the same now as it was back then for picking tunes to play in your sets?
Yeah, I think my process is the same. I'm still very fussy and particular about what I like and what I want, and my standards are still super high, and I think that is what gives me the sound that makes me me.
Well, look, mate, I really appreciate you
speaking to me. I'm sure we'll catch up soon, man. Oh, and we definitely need to get back in the studio again. Thanks again, brother. Peace.
It was a pleasure, brother. Thank you for having me on. And we definitely need to get back in the studio ASAP.
Yes, big up, bro. Thanks again to the Youngsta for having a little chat with us. And remember, don't forget to check out the new LP forthcoming on Century Records. In the meantime, enjoy this one, produced by Youngsta and The Sim, track entitled The Last Judgment. So there's another very big LP on its way, Dark 365, which is Mr. Jay Sparrow's forthcoming album on Deep Medi. And this is him teaming up with Silky, a track entitled Unity Rock. You're listening to Indepth Radio, Series 2, Episode 9. Yeah, carrying on like this. when I was in the States a few weeks back, I did a back-to-back with Pinch. We did an exclusive deleted scene set, which was absolutely amazing. Like, one of the most enjoyable sets I've done in a long time. It was just all brand new exclusive tracks by us. But he dropped this track called Tsar. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Tsar. And it's produced by Headland and Ebb. Absolute beast. Yeah, this one, Absolute Percy, out to Headland, out to Ebb. Big chug. Remember to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, Indepth Radio, all one word. And if you do follow us on Instagram, you'll see I made a video where I mentioned a brand new feature which is coming up, where basically we want you to leave us a voice note on Instagram and just tell us what you're doing. Just say, yes, this is Trev, I'm welding at the moment, loving the show, or just whatever you want to say. And you might just be featured on the show. So, as I mentioned before, my partner in crime, Dark Side, sadly, isn't with us on this show. But he will be back, and apologies to everyone. We have been getting messages going, what's going on with the show? What's happening? Are you guys giving up or whatever? No, like it's literally been 2 weeks, so give us a break, guys. Everything's back to normal. I'm just on my own for this show. He'll be back very, very soon. And yeah, so don't worry, Indepth Radio continues. And beneath me now is a brand new track by myself, and this one is entitled Sacrifices. Enjoy. So once again, that one, brand new by myself, track entitled Sacrifices. Up next, something by this guy, goes by the name of Scars, track entitled Wind Up Dub. Got to say, you know, we've been doing the show a little while now. We're coming close to a year, so we're going to have to think of something exciting to do for that. But we're still receiving such good, exciting music, including this one. It's produced by Hypho and the Zakra, Xakra. I hope that's how you pronounce it. The track is entitled New Rain. After this, it'll be the secret track, but there's a twist because Darkside isn't here. So I want you guys to guess the track. I'm going to let it play out. I'm not going to say who it's by. I want you to leave us a comment. Do it on Twitter, on Instagram, on SoundCloud, on YouTube. Let me know if you guess the track. It's that time again, but I'm on my own, so things are a little bit different this time. I want you to guess the secret track. It's playing Believe Me right now. No cheating, don't go on YouTube or Google. Leave me a comment, have a little guess in the SoundCloud comments on Instagram or on Twitter, and we'll give you a little shout out. Maybe we'll shout out everyone who has a go. So yeah, this one, secret track. Good luck. So yeah, what do you reckon? If you're listening, who made the track? What's the title? Comments below. So that's it, another show done. Thanks again to everyone who checks out our shows, everyone who subscribed to our channels, our social media. I'll be back very soon, and yeah, let's try and beckon Darkside back into the world of Indepth.
Indepth Radio. Indepth Radio.